Coming to you live from downtown Windsor, this is a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
Hello everybody, live from the Plex. I'm Tina Trong, and you are watching the MediaPlex Insider. Don't you know, but it sure looks like winter's here, and Tony wants to keep on biking because, well, he just does.
This winter is shaping out to be a cold one. Even colder if you're out on a bike.
While the past few years have been on the mild side for temps and snow, cyclists will have to work harder this season. Here are a few tips to make your ride safer, smoother, and more comfortable. A key part of biking in the winter is what bike you're using. Road bikes, even with proper equipment, are still dangerous on snow, slush, and ice. Instead, you should break out the mountain bike, or even better, a bike with fat tires to give you maximum traction. Like a car, outfit that bike with some winter tires and modify the brakes with winter pads so you never feel out of control. To stay warm through the coldest days, be sure to layer up on your clothing. You can wear an insulated sweater underneath your jacket, suit up with tight-fitting pants under windbreakers, and double up on gloves if your hands are getting cold. Just make sure these clothes are tight-fitting and breathable so you can still move around with ease. Last of all, it's important to cover your head, but don't sacrifice the helmet. If your helmet struggles to fit over top of a hat, try rolling up a hood or using a headband instead. For your face, you can always wear a neck warmer for quick warmth while keeping your visibility open.
Biking may seem daunting this year, but with the right equipment, you can cycle through the season both safely and in comfort. For MediaPlex News, I'm Tony Tavaleri.
VR and AR are all the rage, but are they just toys? Our journalism saying no, it's practical.
As journalists working in the age of new and advanced technology, we have a lot of assets in regards to how we report and share information with the public. Virtual reality is one of them. VR is a state of augmented reality, a world where storytellers can show an audience the who's, what's, and where's of a situation firsthand. Journalists can also use this tool to create an immersive experience for viewers to not only see and listen to the story, but also enter it as an eyewitness. This further helps them understand what we are all explaining, as well as having a chance to interact with their surroundings. With more traditional news stories, such as press conferences, the user will not only be able to view the main person speaking, but also the supporting people around them. Any questions? Guys, let me break it down for you. VR can also be useful to capture historical events. Wouldn't it be cool to see the first man on the moon through a VR headset? It is important to note there are also specific things VR is not suitable for. For example, VR might not be the best option to film things such as crime scenes, as it likely wouldn't be the most pleasant of user experiences. It is also unsuitable and unsafe to record dangerous events which require full awareness. You wouldn't want to be caught running across the street half blinded by a headset. While it does have its limits, VR can be a useful tool for journalists and the public alike to experience a new world of media consumption. I'm Georgia LeBlanc on behalf of my crew at the MediaPlex.
Spilling the tea is what us ladies do best, so let's listen to all the good stuff we have for you today.
Welcome to Spilling the Tea. I'm Natalie Reinhardt.
I'm Tina Trong.
And I'm Chelsea Sad.
And here we're talking about the bright lights here in local Windsor.
Oh, this is exciting.
Unfortunately, I'm not from around here, so Natalie, what would you say to someone who hasn't been?
Well, let's be honest here. Windsor is known for their bright lights, like snow in like summer, everything is known for snow. And it's just such a beautiful time. And actually, Tina, you work there, don't you?
Yes, I do. I'm partnering with TWEPI. For those who don't know, TWEPI stands for Tourism Windsor Essex Peely Island. I work with one of the multiple vendors of We Heart Local Market, actually.
That is so cool. And is it all like local?
Yes, so not just my vendor market, but also other local businesses here in Windsor, Essex, who are also helping supporting Bright Lights as well, actually.
That's really interesting. When does it start?
It starts on November 29th to January 9th, and it goes from 5 to 10 p.m. So it'll be fun for, anyone who wants to check for the lights here. We do have Christmas lights as well for anyone who wants to take pictures for the friends and family. We do have a chalet for anyone who wants to escape the cold, as well as they serve hot chocolate for anyone who wants to partake in a hot beverage during the winter time.
So it's open right now?
Yes, it is open right now. So you can also come during, the Christmas season, Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, as well as past New Year's.
It's so cool. We should go after we film this today.
Oh yeah, for sure. We should all go.
Yeah, let's do it.
This has been Spilling the Tea with Chelsea Sad,
Tina Trong,
and I'm Natalie Reinhard. The tea has been spilt. We'll see you for the next cup. Bye.
Bye.
When Tony comes in from his winter biking, he is a hungry man. So let's see what is on the menu today.
Oh my, oh me, oh my. Who wants some spaghetti?
Pasta, made simple. I've owned this cookbook for about 4 years now, and I've never actually made a recipe from it. Until recently. Just last week, I made a seafood recipe from this book, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint. Today, I'd like to take a look at another side of this wonderful pasta book. White bean soup. It's a pretty basic title, but when I first read this recipe, it left me very intrigued. The bean broth idea sounds pretty interesting, especially mixed with pasta. I don't think I've ever really had anything like that. The closest is lentil soup, which if you haven't had lentil soup, whoa buddy, you're missing out. The choice of noodles is also a bit dodgy in my eyes. I've never really liked these noodles. I've had them in a couple things and they did nothing for me. But perhaps this is the soup these noodles were meant for all along. They're soulmates. Put them together and I'm already intrigued. Having the garlicky oil added at the end as well, I'm not gonna lie, that just sounds delicious. I see no qualms with that. So, let's get these beans up and cooking. All right, this broth is ready. It's going pretty good. Broth is hot. Beans are cooking. Beans are softening. Look at these beans. They're ready to friggin' crumble before our very eyes. Only thing is, I kind of messed up. This is the first Tony flop of this recipe. I put too much broth in this soup, so I gotta let the broth cook off for a while. But it's gonna be good. May just take a little longer than 2 hours. In the meantime, while that broth is cooking, we got the pasta simmering on the back burner here. I find with soup, you can basically have pasta going whenever you want. You're gonna be adding that pasta to the soup at the very end anyways, so might as well cook it while you're cooking the soup. I also have the garlic simmering out front here. I found for making butter chicken that the longer you let the garlic simmer within the olive oil, the more garlic flavor it lets out. Okay, 2 hours later, and this broth is looking a little more starchy because the beans, it's still very liquidy, but it's definitely thickened up a little bit. Let's blend this guy up now. Quick disclosure before we hop in, I have never used this little hand blender before. I'm a little scared to use it. Whenever I turn it on, it goes like... It sounds like it's screaming. I don't know if this thing is in pain, but I'm gonna feel a little in pain as I'm using this. Let's give it a shot. I need to put this blender away from my face as well. Let's blend this broth together. All right, moment of truth. I'm standing back for this one. Okay. Okay, I think that's blended. I really hope I didn't just scratch the out of my pan, all right? There's no better word for it. Let's peep this out. Last thing for the broth is just salt and pepper. I really hope I didn't mess this up. All right, so the broth is all ready. It's looking kind of foamy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared to try this out. It is not nearly as thick as I expected it to be. I was kind of expecting like a hummus out of this because you're blending the beans with it. It's basically a thick chicken broth. It's probably got some beany taste to it, if I'd have to guess. I'm a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. Let's give this a shot and let's see if I messed it up or not. One more quick addition, I actually did not include all of the pasta noodles within the broth. As the recipe says, I just put whatever I was eating within the bowl here. I find with soups, if you're gonna be storing most of the soup later on like I am, it's better to pack the noodles and the broth separately so you don't risk melting the noodles within your broth. It's basically the easiest way to just screw up your soup, in my opinion. So don't do that. Do this. Yeah, not gonna lie, I'm actually really scared. This could be the most disgusting thing ever. All right. It's time. It's okay. The broth needs a little bit extra. It definitely could have used more beans. I definitely put too much broth to start with. I did let it cook off, but I also think that the amount of beans it called for was way too low. 1 can of beans to 6 cups of broth? Nah, that ain't it. I'm thinking probably 1 can to like 3 cups, potentially 2.5. I was expecting this to be thick. I was kind of expecting lentil soup. I was expecting some hummus of some sort. This wasn't it. It's basically chicken soup, a little bit starchy, not even that much starchy. I don't really taste the beans. I think that's the big issue with this. I don't taste the beans. The noodles actually ain't bad. I would say these are probably good noodles for soup. I learned that out of this recipe. The parsley did not add too much, and it's sad to say, but the garlicky oil, it didn't do it. It didn't really add much to it. It just sort of made it oily, which, I mean, I don't mind oil, so it's okay with me. On further examination, after finishing my bowl, it's okay. It's definitely okay. It's actually a very light soup, which I did not expect. It's almost got like Italian chicken soup vibes to it, but the beans do add a slight flavor to it, a lot slighter than I expected it to be. The garlic is actually a very good choice. It adds its own slight flavor to the whole meal, which it works, you know, it works with it. I feel like it's needing something else, but it's not bad. It's just not, it's not rocking my world. All right. So in the end, I would not say this soup failed the Tony test. I probably failed the Tony test by putting too much broth. So mark me down, Tony.
Let's head over to Zach with a look at the weather. Zach, has winter arrived? White Christmas? What's the story?
Well, Tina, thank you so much. And winter not only has arrived, it's here. and it's going to be here for quite a while. Let's take a look at your regional weather. We got Windsor at -1 down in Amherstburg. But as you move inland, Lakeshore -1, 2 in Essex, and Tilbury, putting the burr in Tilbury, -2 degrees. Now let's take a look at that 3-day forecast. Wednesday, 1 degrees with some snow showers, -6 on Thursday. Friday, cloudy, and a high of -3. But as we look beyond the 3-day outlook, just cloudy with maybe some sun popping out early next week. And now let's take a look at your weather fact. Did you know that the most damage ever caused by a thunderstorm was in 1995 when hailstones bigger than cricket balls fell in the state of Texas? No hail, no snow, just a bitterly cold forecast. Back to you, Tina.
Thanks, Zach. Joe Siddall had a front row seat to all of his Blue Jay fabulous run to the World Series. And today, Marshall Kewen pulled up beside him to hear what he had to say about the glamorous moments.
Hello everyone, welcome to 2-Minute Warning. I'm your host Marshall Kewen, and today we have a very special guest. He has played in the MLB for the Montreal Expos, Florida Marlins, and Detroit Tigers. Give a very special welcome to Toronto Blue Jays analyst Joe Siddall. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Marshall. How are you doing?
I'm doing not so bad myself. All right, I got a couple questions here for you. I'm just going to pick your brain, and should be
perfect
over before you know it. So you had the very unique opportunity this year to not only call a game in the World Series or work in the World Series, but the team you were working for made it there. Unfortunately, a little heartbreak happened where they didn't win. Unfortunate, but what is the difference between your day-to-day preparation for a regular season game and preparation for a World Series game?
Well, it's a real good question, Marshall. And the reason I say that is because during the postseason with Major League Baseball and all of the rules that are in place, the days are very different. During the regular season, we have a lot of clubhouse access time where we can go talk to players, coaches. We do visit with the manager. But once the playoffs roll around, especially the World Series, there are specific times, and we're not necessarily allowed in the clubhouse now at all unless you're the game broadcaster, the play-by-play, and the analyst doing the game, like from Fox, the national networks, or ours. But you have press conferences, and the manager and a player or two from each team, the next day's starting pitcher, will be in the press conference room. Tons of people in there, as you can imagine, the media coverage. So it is very different. I actually don't like that part of the season for that reason as much. Love the playoffs, love playoff baseball, love the World Series, but unfortunately we don't have that same access where I can grab a Blue Jays player anytime and just ask him something. I was able to get a couple of guys. I talked to Freddie Freeman on occasion, a couple of guys from the Dodgers as well. You can be out on the field and that can happen, but it's just not, it's just so orchestrated that and you understand, because they don't want, there was Canadian media, American media, all of the Japanese media, there was media all over the place for covering this World Series.
From a media standpoint, we're going to continue on that topic. What's it like to watch a team capture an entire nation like the Blue Jays did this season?
As a broadcaster, we're starting to get used to it. I started this back in 2014. The last Blue Jays playoff runs were in 15 and 16 there. This was different, and it was so different because now we've gotten to a point where it's a new team now, and when Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins took over, it took a while. And if you think about their last few trips to the postseason, all losses, wild card losses, 2 and out, 3 straight times, or 3 times, 6 losses. This time, though, not only do they win the AL East, but then they get the bye, and then it's to the division series, the championship series, and it just felt like every series, each series there, it just kept building, and it kept building. And I can tell you, there is nothing like hearing 40-something thousand people in the Rogers Centre in Toronto singing "O Canada," like so loud they're almost drowning out the singer. And I mean that in a complimentary way because it was a fascinating scene. And I keep saying this country, I also want to include, and Blue Jays fans everywhere, because we hear from them everywhere. We hear from Blue Jays fans in the UK, overseas, all over the world. Obviously, the country has just gotten behind this team, especially on the run that it went on. And unfortunately, in this game, the longer you play, especially when it goes into that calendar flip into November, and when it doesn't end your way, it hurts even more. That was a tough one for Blue Jays fans everywhere.
Yeah, so you had a very unique career, pretty typical within some people in the baseball world, where you were a player for several years and then you transitioned to being a broadcast analyst. What is that transition like?
A lot of it, to be honest with you, is utilizing your knowledge and your insight of the game, what you're seeing, the way you react to what's happening on the field, and you're doing it just in a different way now. You're doing it now from behind a microphone. And most of the time, to be honest with you, when I'm talking about pitch sequencing or analyzing a play or talking about how this pitcher is pitching going into the 6th inning and how he's saving his bullpen today, all of those things I'm talking about are things I talked about when I had a uniform on sitting on the bench, when I was catching between innings, talking to a teammate, talking to my pitching coach, talking to a manager. It's really just an extension of being a player, and I think I've always said that this is the greatest job in the world because really it's the closest you can get to playing, talking about the game every day, being around the game every day, talking to players, managers, coaches, and when you can't play anymore or when you choose not to play anymore, it is the next best thing because I still feel like it's a little bit of that adrenaline rush that you feel like sometimes I'm still sitting behind the plate.
And I want to really capture that one thing. You said that it kind of brings you back to the days where you had your uniform on. What is the biggest difference from the players today, the prep they do before a game, the equipment that they're exposed to within the weight room, and just overall how far the technology has come in baseball equipment? What does that compare to back in the day when you played?
So I think more, first and foremost, when you started talking about the workouts and the things guys use, technology has, in every sport, and we've seen it in golf, we've seen it in hockey, and especially we've seen it in baseball. And when I say technology, it's the slow motion cameras that they have, the things that can be measured now. I mean, you can literally take a picture into their lab and slow-mo cameras can see the grip on the ball, the arm angle, the hand position, the axis of spin on the baseball. They can really design pitches. It almost sounds like robotics.
Yeah.
But that's how good and how exact the science is now. In my day now, I'm a little bit older, so say 30 years ago, I'd be with our pitching coach and he'd say, get the elbow up a little bit more and try to get out front with it. I mean, there wasn't too much more than that. There was more than that, but nothing scientifically, that's for sure. And I think too, when you think about the information in the game, so we hear the word analytics, and it's almost like this boogeyman word in baseball or in sports now, because the old school, it's old school. I call it baseball. I don't like using the term old school. It's baseball. But we didn't have the information they have now. So we used to think if you were a hitter coming up, I had the scouting report right here because we had meetings before a series, and I knew that, okay, with this guy, let's start him hard away early, and then late you can get him to chase the breaking ball in the dirt. Or he really likes to swing at the first pitch, so let's be careful with that first pitch. That was basic information. Now you've got hot and cold zones of hitters. The catchers have wristbands to tell you every count, what they do, where you should go. If it's 1 and 2, you should go to this area of the zone with a harder pitch or a breaking pitch. And if it's early in the count, first pitch, this is where you should stay. So the information is through the roof. I would almost say sometimes to a fault, because as players now, and I watch this as a broadcaster, I think sometimes you can use that as a crutch and just fall into counting on that information instead of utilizing the information, but also utilizing that brain, because that to me is the best tool there is for any athlete.
Great. I want to thank you for your time, giving me the opportunity to pick your brain a little bit, but unfortunately that is all the time we have for our show. I'm Marsha Kewen, and you have been watching 2 Minute Warning.
Zach, listen, I think I hear something on the roof.
Could it be? Really? No.
Come on, let's go check it out.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads.
And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap.
When out from the lawn there rose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter.
Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash.
The moon
moon of the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below.
When what to my wandering eye should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer.
With a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick.
More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Dunder and Blitzen.
To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all.
As dry leaves before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky.
So up to the housetop the crosses they flew, with the slate full of toys, the St. Nicholas too.
And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof.
As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound.
He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot.
A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack.
His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry.
His droll little mouth was drawn like a bow, and his beard on his chin was as white as the snow.
The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath.
He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly.
He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself.
A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread.
He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk.
And laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose.
He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle.
But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight,
Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tina Trong.
And I'm Zachary Balog.
And you have been watching
The
MediaPlex Insider.
This has been a St. Clair College MediaPlex production.
I think it's so important to be taught by industry professionals because they know what they're doing. And they're not just teaching because they read it in a book somewhere. They're teaching because they've lived it. I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.
I learn by doing. I learn by reacting to a situation. St. Clair puts me directly into my industry. I'm dealing with real patients, real life situations. It's not just theory. It's not book work anymore.
I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.